Hello there. In this video, I'm going to be working through a ratios and problem solving question that has some angle facts in it. This is from the Edexcel exam from November 23, and it was a question 6 on the higher paper, and it was question 23 on the foundation paper. So let's work through this question together. So I'm just going to read the instructions first of all. So it says the diagram shows an isosceles triangle ABD and the straight line ABC. Now immediately I'm drawn to the fact that this is an isosceles triangle, and of course for an isosceles triangle, when I know that the two sides here are equal, I know that the two inside angles, the two base angles, must be equal as well. So I think I'm just going to label the other angle X because I know that base angles are equal in an isosceles triangle. And I'm going to write that language down because that could be quite important in a reasoning problem. Base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. Lovely, so I've set that up there. The next thing I notice about this question is I'm given a ratio. I'm given the ratio that x to y is equal to 2 to 1. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write the fact that x to y is in the ratio 2 to 1. And that means that for every one y, I have got 2 y's over here. That must mean that x can be written as 2y, so x must be twice as big as y. So what I'm now going to do is, instead of writing x as those angles, I'm going to replace both of those x's with 2 y's. And that means that I've only got one letter in that triangle rather than 2 different letters. And because I know that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees, which I'm going to write down here, I can see that y plus 2y and another 2y must be equal to 180 degrees, and that then tells me that 5y's are equal to 180 degrees. And if I know that 5y's are equal to 180 degrees, I could divide that by 5. But what I prefer to do things a little bit differently sometimes because I really like doubling numbers. And by doubling both of those sides, which I've just done because I wanted to really, I could have divided by 5, but I prefer to times by 2. And then literally, I'm just going to divide by 10 because in my head it's much easier to do this. However you do it, doesn't really matter. Y is equal to 36 degrees. Well, that's quite useful because I know that's 36 degrees there. Now it tells me that I've got a straight line, the straight line ABC, and I know another angle fact about a straight line, and I know that when I have angles at a point on a straight line, I know that the sum is 180 degrees. So I'm just going to write down the angles at a point on a line total 180 degrees. And that must mean, therefore, that W plus Y is equal to 180 degrees. But because I know what Y is, I'm going to write W add 36 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. And then to find W, I think I'm just going to subtract 36 degrees from both sides of my equation. And I'll just do that over here. I've got 180 subtract 36. I could do it in my head, but I don't want to go wrong. And I've got 144 degrees. So I think W is 144 degrees. Where you'd get marks on that question is for managing to express X in terms of Y. That would give you a mark. If you manage to form an equation connecting all the angles in that triangle with one of those letters, that would give you another mark. And if you actually manage to find Y and then subtract that value of Y from 180 degrees, that would give you another mark. And finally, your answer is worth a mark in itself. I hope that helped you figure out how to do this question. I'm sure that there are other ways that it can be done, but I've just shown you the way that I chose to do this. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you.